Just start from here ke? Sisi?
Yeah, just the main page, first page.
Okay. Um,
Okay.
okay, let's start with. Okay, my name is Iza Nabila binti Noliza. My metric number is 255794. Okay, let's start with space and territory. Okay, first is prosmix, where it examines how people communicate in a given space. From the picture below, it can be said that this meeting scene is in personal distance as they are sitting close to each other, which usually occur in a group discussion. Next is a shape of the meeting. From the member seating arrangement in the picture below, it shows that the shape of the meeting in this scene is um, rectangular table where the flow of the meeting are being controlled by the leader. Here we can see that the members' personal space are being minimized, and Gorbachev, as the leader of the meeting, control the meeting by asking the member to brief the problem they are facing. Next is territory, which defined as boundaries. Throughout the scene, we can see that it is indeed a serious meeting which usually done in an official place. Therefore, the meeting in this scene is held at the office meeting room where everyone has a clear boundaries to each other. The next is seating arrangement. First is Mikhail Gorbachev. Throughout the scene, we can see that Gorbachev is seated at the head of the table, which shows that he is the leader in the meeting, since a leader of discussion is usually taking a prominent position at the head of the table. And then next is Valery Legasov, a chemist scientist. Even though he did not sit close to the leader, Gorbachev, we can see from scene 0.28 onward that Legasov is an important person to the leader, as he have to explain the issue of the whole situation to the in details to the leader and the members. And lastly is Ulana Komyuk. From the picture below, we can see that Komyuk is seated next to Legasov, which allowed them to easily respond to each other. Here we can consider that she is an important person to Legasov, since she is one of many scientists who helped Legasov on his investigation. Okay, next.
Okay, hello. My name is Sishitra. My matrix number 252735. So before I explain on the time, I will briefly explain on the synopsis of this series. So the synopsis of this meeting scene begins with a meeting session conducted by the President of Soviet Union, which was attended by many high-profile people. The aim of this meeting was to discuss about the nuclear accident, which involved the nuclear plant, and how significant is the effect of the accident to the neighboring countries and states. So the nuclear physicians were explaining about the after effects in detail by referring to the map as well. So now, project team was brought forward to solve the nuclear explosion crisis for a brief period of time. So the brief period of time could usually extend up to 3 years. Depends on the severity of the case. So in this case, it is very severe because the nuclear explosion caused some after effects to the people, which could cause in their birth defects and etc. So considering this whole situation, I think it could extend up to 5 years. Depends on the severity of the case itself. So the team comprises of specialists and high trained people in their respective fields. They are also brought together to solve this issue by minimizing the effects of the radioactive materials on the people itself. Uh,
Next ke?
yeah, next.
Alright, sorry.
So next is the artifacts and objects. So before I talk in detail, I would like to define what is artifacts in the first place. So artifacts is actually, as we all know, is an object made by human being. But artifacts also have another definition where it could be something that is observed in a scientific investigation or experiment that is not naturally present but occurs as a result of an investigation. So in this movie scene, we could clearly observe there are four main artifacts that we could see with our naked eyes. But at the same time, there is one artifact that I have included as a result of the second definition provided there. So the second, I mean the last artifact that I've included in this case is the radioactive material. So although radioactive material is not present in the meeting, but since it's part of the scientific investigation that we could hear and observe, so that's the reason why I've included it as part of the artifacts here. Next slide. So the four artifacts that we can see in this picture is the map, the water bottle, the meeting table, and also the pencils provided there. Next. So the meeting table is a rectangular table discussion used in the meeting scene as to indicate that it's a formal private discussion. The map used in this scene is to describe about the after effects of the thermal explosion on other countries. The map is used to analyze how far the explosion could affect other countries within the 2 kilometer radius estimated. So the radioactive material the radioactive material artifact used in this thing is to were part of the discussion topic in the meeting, whereby they discuss about the ejection and the dispersion through the massive shock wave, which could extend up to 200 kilometers, which could provide fatal to some countries, and some countries could experience birth defects. So the water bottle was placed on the meeting table as a gesture of respect to quench the thirst of the attendees throughout the lengthy meeting. And lastly, the pencils were included in this meeting scene because it would help uh, the attendees of the meeting to jot down the important points of the meeting session. So,
Alright, my name is Siti Salbia Midama Shukri. So now I will present about kinesics. So kinesics actually refers to the body languages. There are various categories of body gestures, such as the postures, hand and arm gestures, facial expression, and total body movement. This kinetic or body languages is very important as it can portray someone's expressions or feelings toward others. Next. So first, I will explain about the facial expressions that can be seen in this meeting scenes. Firstly, from the minute of 0.00 until the second of 15th, we can say that everyone of the participant in showing a gloomy and stern face as they were worried about the consequences that could happen due to the nuclear reactions, and the discussion is becoming more serious. And next, in the minute of 1.43, the president is asking, "What is that a problem, Professor?" The president looked anxious, curious, and worried about the impact that could happen if the tank is full of water. Next is in the minute of 4.31, the president was speechless and stunned for a moment when Legasov is asking for his permission to kill three men in order to open the sluice gate valve in the basement to let the water pump out from the tank. Okay, next is the body movement and gestures. In this meeting scenes, in the minute of 0.25, um, we can see that in that minutes we can see that Boris is leaning back to his chair to let Legasov give more further details about the nuclear reactions. This shows that Boris is not quite interested to the discussions topic. And then next, in the minute of 0.26, we can see that Legasov is quickly stands up upon hearing his name being mentioned to explain more about the nuclear rations. This shows that Legasov commitment to preparation before the meeting. He's being prepared to discuss or to explain about the issue that happens in the discussion topics. And next is from minute of 0.36 until 1.40. We can see that when Legasov is explaining about the discussed topic, which is nuclear reactions, he's showing his body and hand movements, which represent Legasov enthusiasm and interest towards the discussion topics. And next is from the minute of 0.41 until 0.45, most of the participants of the discussion is flipping their books, which is containing the maps of the subunit, as they will pay attention and they are keeping up with the discussions. And lastly, which is from minute 0.00 until 4.48, which is from the starting until the end of the meeting, we can see that most of the participants were paying attention to the discussion as they were sitting up straight in their seats, unless for Boris, who is leaning back in the half of the meeting. That's all from me.
I'm Nur Fauzan Ramadan bin Ramadanita, and my metric number is 252985. So I'm going to present the gaze or eye contact analysis for the scenes. Basically, eye behavior among the discussion participants could display a number of personality and social dimensions. However, there are no direct eye contact had been displayed in the short scenes that we referred. So we make assumption that eye contact has been made among the discussion participants. Next. Okay, for the social dimensions, the first one is the leader. Okay, the persons having the most authority usually give direct eye contact to everyone or the persons that he or she refer talk to. This is to show credibility and leadership to the discussion participants or to that particular person. And for example, in this case is Michael Gorbachev. The first video, when he started the meeting, he gave direct eye contact to all discussion participants while giving the welcoming speech. Whereas the second video, when he mentioned Boris, he made direct eye contact with him in order to assert him in explaining the issue in detail. Next. Okay, next one is the follower. Everyone give direct eye contact to the persons that having the most authority during the crucial moment of discussion. This is in order to wait or respond the decision of the highest authority. So, for example, in this video, it include all the discussion participants except the leader. From the video, we can see after the Valery Legasov proposed unexpected solution in resolving the issue, everyone give eye contact to the leader, which is Michael Gorbachev, to wait and respond his decision. Next. Okay, the next one is in perspective of personality. So the first one is respect. Okay, the person gives direct eye contact but unable to keep it in a long time to the person that he or she refer or talk to. This is to show deference or respect to the person that he or she refer or talk to. For example, in this video, it happens to for two persons, which is Boris and Valery Legasov. And from both videos, when they are communicating with Michael Gorbachev, they respond him eye contact but refuse to keep it in a long time because he respect him due to his authority or power. Next. Okay, the next one is interest. The person give direct eye contact or gaze to the person. This is in order to show interest to the persons or the topic that the person brings on. So, for example, is all the discussion participants. When Valery, for both video, when Valery Legasov and Elena Komiuk explain the issue in details to the discussion participants, everyone give eye contact to them because they everyone are interested on the topic that they brings on. Next. Okay, the next one is emphasize. The person keep making direct eye contact to the persons that he refer or talk to. This is to emphasize the topic that the person brings on. So, for example, in this video, it happens for Valery Legasov. So, when he explaining the solution, he keep making direct eye contact with the leader to emphasize him the solution he proposed. Next one. Okay, the last one is uncertainty or shock. So the persons avoid to respond the eye contact in the beginning, but after that continue to respond the eye contact. This is because he is in uncertainty or shock conditions. For example, in this sense is Michael Gorbachev, the leader. When the for both video, when Valery Legasov explained the issues, he avoid making eye contact in the beginning, but after that, give the eye contact back to him because he too shocked or uncertainty with the issues. Next, I will pass to my partner. Shaira.
Shahira, I can't hear you.
Hello?
Okay, continue. You have to speak louder.
I'm going to number
Sorry, Shahira, I can't hear you.
I'm going to say about major provincial of the village. At minute 0.0 until 0.6, apologizing our parents, our enemies, our power comes from the teaching of others to understand the speech not before start the meeting. So how brief about the reactivity the project. And it's not only affect the civilian but the country other countries around the world. And at minute 4, 4.41 until 4. Alright, like this. Have to do this exercise. For the at the Chernobyl. For the now by 10 minutes of with the 0.1 until 5 our was when he was asked by the vice president of Soviet Union. Next is very at minute 0.06 some good news are working to down the fires in action by anything for any scenario. We sounded confident delivering the capacity found some regions to put more slow down the activity at minute 4.3 until 4. President Gorbachev asked and voted in this they regretted and never to ask Gorbachev's meeting. Five line workers that have experience in to pump out the water out of tanks. Still want to sound pleasant, but sacrifice who must have to do the sacrifice in order to save millions of lives. And lastly, Lana permit that help Valerie Legasov on his at the for 1.47 until 1.5 when the lava 2000 It short and uh, the abbreviation begins of project. Here, junior, load, following, hungry, money. As well as